Alright, what are we doing here today? Not working too hard, just kind of hanging out. Does that actually look correct? Hold on, I gotta go look at this other drawing that I have. Okay, yeah, that looks fine. Alright, good. Hey Boris, how's it going? We're not working super hard today, so we're just kind of hanging out. And I got some stuff to do, so I'll be hanging out and working on other stuff and talking to you guys. Especially if you have any questions about systems work or getting into the Discord and working on the Linux systems administration stuff. That's all stuff that people find to be interesting. I'm good. I'm feeling good. Got family in town. Been staying up late, so that's good. All right. So, what do I need to do here? Check on some system stuff. Again, if any of you guys have any questions about anything, feel free to let me know. We're just kind of hanging out today. Not working too hard. I'm currently dismissing events in my XCPNG that I don't want to see anymore. Kind of annoying that I have 12 failed connection errors because last week... Oh, I actually have a class to teach tonight. I forgot about that too. That's always fun. Lots of college stuff going on. Alright, got those all fixed. AppSec, how's it going? Over on the YouTube side. We're not working too hard. We're just kind of hanging out, listening to a little music and doing some co-working, watching my environment, making sure that the Rocky Linux and Werewolf is working fine. And that's all the Prolog labs for people to use. We keep track of those, kind of see how everything's going over there. So, other than that, I was cleaning up that environment. I got some college stuff. Esam Ben, how's it going over on the YouTube side? And then your EXO running on hypervisor or elsewhere. Boris, I am running XCPNG, which is a type 1 hypervisor on multiple different physical devices, and then that feeds in over to I use XCPNG Center to check it all out, and then everything else inside of it's all Linux. So XCPNG is Linux under the hood, and then we can hop into it if we ever need to. Actually, I do control that stuff directly sometimes in the environment with Ansible. I don't use Orchestra. I don't use any orchestrator. I use a viewer to view it, but I don't use like there's a Zen orchestrator and I don't use that. Or there's an XCPNG tool for that, but I don't use it. No, because you get it for free for like 3 months and then they keep trying to charge you after that, and I decided not to use it. One of my buddies actually uses it, but he just ignores that because you don't get updates and it keeps messaging you to like update, and I don't bother using any of that stuff. I just use all the open source free stuff. I don't use any of their, I think it's called Zen Orchestrator, but yeah, I don't mess with any of that. So. And Mohammed Garbi over on YouTube. How's it going? We're just hanging out again, not working too hard today. Just hanging out. I am going to be working on some college stuff here that I got to look at. Make sure that I got all that stuff cleaned up for my systems here. Yeah, but other than that, I'm just kind of hanging out. Yeah, I don't know if they. So Boris, that tool of theirs is distributed as a VMDK or an OVA file. So it's I'm not 100% sure that there's a way to get, like, I don't know what their software licensing is on that part of that tool. I mean, maybe I guess you could get the software, and I don't know if they have it somewhere on a GitHub or something. I've never looked into it. We're almost Unit 12 RNX. We're almost in Unit 12 of the Discord or the Linux Systems Administration course. So, yeah, if you're in Unit 2 though, keep going. We're gonna keep building that out and letting that course go as far as it kind of can. So that should be fun. I think people are getting a lot out of it. I mean, people are getting as much out of it as they choose to put into it, and that course is requiring about 6 to 8 hours of work a week to kind of keep up on. So I think people are finding that, you know, the stuff that I have you do is heavily involved with, like, being a Linux systems administrator. So it's actually kind of been like I see it spilling over when I teach those classes on the weekends, where we are moving. So I have to kind of hold back from talking about the engineering stuff. Engineering is its own thing. Administration is keeping everything going, right? Like, administration is kind of like you're the pilot, you're flying a plane, and while it's useful to know why the plane flies and how it flies, really at the end of the day, your job is just to keep the system up and moving. You don't have to know how all the linkages work and how all the different pieces move and the angles and stuff to keep a thing in flight. That's more of like the engineering side of things, and that's kind of the same way I think about systems work. As a systems administrator, you got to be able to keep everything moving. You got to be able to start it up. You need to be able to look at logs, but you don't need to know all the pieces of how it was built. It's the idea of a run book versus a build book, if you've ever used those terms. So, Boris, I'm not sure what's going to happen when I'm done. I have a course outline in LeanPub, so what I might do in the future is, for people that want to do it later and still get like a certificate, I may just put it up in LeanPub, and then people can do it there, although that will be like a charge. All the stuff that's going on in Discord now is free, right? And that'll always be down there free forever. But if somebody comes later and says, oh, I really want to get a hold of that, and I really want to do it and get a certificate from you guys, then that'll be, I don't know, it'll be like $30 or something. I don't know exactly what the course is going to cost yet. But yeah, AppSec, I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm trying to do good stuff and make sure everything is valuable to you guys that are interested in doing this stuff, right? And this week, I'm pretty sure, I haven't looked at it in a while, but I'm pretty sure, didn't we do monitoring this week? So yeah, that stuff up on the top right of my screen there, that's all kind of monitoring stuff. You know, kind of what a monitoring architecture might look like in a loosely coupled format in a modern type system. That's not the only way it looks. That's actually the way that we do it in the Prolog lab, right? That's the way that we monitor around here. Yeah, Enzo Bear, I am gonna one of the things I'm gonna do, and I've committed to this, so I'll tell you guys, I'm probably gonna take a little bit of a break right after the new year. You know, I'm not gonna jump right into the engineering version, but I am gonna do a heavy engineering version, and I'll call it Linux Systems Engineering, and that will be run the same type of way, but it will be significantly more challenging because it'll be build, and we'll be doing build systems and adhering to requirements and the things that we need to do if we want to move from administration into engineering. So yeah, RNX, I appreciate that, and Enzo Bear.
I appreciate that. My goal again is just to kind of get you guys into doing this stuff, right? I think you guys can I think you guys all can do this, and I think most of you are doing it. You just have to kind of see it all come together. So, Enzo, you used the triage method in your interviews and talked about IMAG Google incident. Nice, 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 nice. Yeah, we're gonna do some heavy troubleshooting stuff here, stuff that I've talked about before, but that's coming up again. And we're going to go into failure modes and effects analysis, and we're probably going to go, I'm probably going to go even into some of the engineering stuff that we do with like what are called fishbone diagrams and different methods of finding errors from like Six Sigma. And I think that some of you guys will really maybe stick, like some of you guys might really like that stuff, I think. Because, you know, I think people that play with Linux in general are engineering mindset. You know, you've got an engineering mindset. And I was thinking about this the other day. There's kind of a thing to think about here. And I think if we were to draw out Venn diagrams, I think it would make sense. But it's the idea that all engineers are hackers at heart, but not all hackers are engineers. And what I mean by that is all engineers will hack at shit until they get it to work. But not all hackers will spend time to understand the systems at a level that an engineer will. So engineers do hacking all day. I tell people that all the time. Hacking is a subset of engineering, but just being a hacker doesn't necessarily get you paid. And that's something I try to tell people. Like you got to learn how to document before and how to, how to plan before and document after. Right? That's a big part of the engineering toolkit and tool bag. So yeah, but we'll do that. That's all future stuff. We're just kind of hanging out now. I'm kind of co-working a little bit on some systems while I sit here and hang out with you guys. So and CC, hopefully this stuff's useful to you. Thanks for the follow over on Twitch. I don't know how to say your name besides CC because there's no vowels. Fun fact. Does anybody here? Here's a fun little piece of trivia. And actually, I think I've said this before, and I don't know if anybody actually has. I don't know if Google will give you a good answer for this or not. But does anybody here know the difference between a consonant and a vowel sound? You need to know this if you're ever teaching people how to read. Something they teach like elementary teachers. So elementary teachers know this, and I know this. What's the difference between a consonant and a vowel sound? That's a fun one. Real hacker needs an oscilloscope. Yeah. My college had rooms full of oscilloscopes because I went to DeVry, which is, most people don't know, DeVry's been around, 70 plus years now, and they're a big part of like motion picture society and like moving forward like DeVry is heavily electronics as a kind of like a background. Where are my teeth? I'm doing good. I'm doing good today. Yeah, I'm hanging out. All right. Yeah, we'll do a Linux Systems Engineering course. And that one will be significantly deeper, I think, in the how and the why things work. Where are my teeth? That's partially true. What you're saying is almost completely true, except it's missing the main part of the definition, but that is correct. What you're saying is correct, but it's missing the definitive definition part. I'll just go ahead and tell you guys because that was close enough to make it accurate. Vowel sounds are made without any other part of your mouth touching. They're basically generated from your throat. However, consonant sounds require some part of your mouth to touch another part of your mouth, meaning your teeth or your tongue or your lips or your, something has to touch something else for a consonant sound to be generated. But vowels are generated completely from your throat. So that's kind of an interesting, yeah. Yeah. No, that's very important to learn how to read and to learn how to teach people. Like if you were going to teach a bunch of people to go out and teach people to read, understanding the difference between a vowel and a consonant sound is a huge part of that. So, especially if you're ever going to try to teach like adult learners that maybe have missed, maybe they didn't read, and you're trying to help them be literate in their older age, it's valuable to show them how sounds are formed, because most people know the language, right? And like everybody knows the language, but then translating that down into looking at letters on a page, that makes sense. Without teeth for mostly vowels, yeah. Yeah. But just know that, yeah, consonants are formed in the mouth by pieces of the mouth touching other parts of the mouth. So that's kind of a fun little fact that you might not have known. You're like, man, I came to an engineering stream and to talk about Linux and stuff, and this guy's talking about how people talk. Well, it's important, right? How people learn is very important to know if you want to teach people anything, right? So next week, I'm doing an intensive over at the college where I'm working on my dissertation and getting kind of the start of my, everything thrown together to get my dissertation written. So it's going to be a lot of work. Yeah, engineers do need to know how things function. And in fact, I always say engineers need to know how things cycle, right? How things start and run through. In fact, I have a talk on that I gave back in August. I don't know if everybody was around for it, but back in August we did like a big 5-year on Discord and 10 years as a Linux group. The Prolog's been around for a while, and on the Discord, yeah, we're doing our 5-year anniversary, and we all came and talked. There was a bunch of us that came and talked about the different systems things, and mine was a talk called Why Engineering, and I just talked about the systems. Yeah, so all right, while we're sitting here not working too hard, let me grab some Linux Systems Administration course, and in that course we're going to do definitely communication, like how data flow, and then we're definitely going to do systems. We're going to do security as part of that. So yeah, I think there's a fair amount of things. I think we got the hackers in the movie The Plague Enters Room on a skateboard should never fear, I is here. Never fear, I is here. No, CC, that's fine. Yeah, this closed captioning always thinks I say prologue like a word, but it's the Professional Linux Users Group, so it's PROLUG. But yeah, my closed captioning, I've looked down there sometimes when I'm talking to you guys, and that closed captioning is just in some other world. And I'm like, what? We're not even talking about the same thing here. So it's kind of funny. Oh, Where My Teeth. You definitely need to go watch Hackers if you haven't seen that. That's like that's just a fun 90s movie. Maybe, is that even early? No, it's early 90s, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, you definitely go have some fun with that one. That's like I tell people, the IT Crowd. If you're going to get into IT administration, you got to go watch the IT Crowd. That's a British comedy show, and I've just got a soft spot in my heart for British comedy. I think some of their comedy is just the best stuff around. So, yeah. Yeah, IT Crowd's just great. All right, I need to get a little bit of work done while I'm sitting here talking to you guys. So there's our little Nightbot over on the Twitch side. It should be telling you guys what we do around here. You know, and sneakers, yeah. There's actually a really good book to read too if you want a good book on like the hacker mindset. It's called Little Brother. Little Brother was fun. I remember reading that probably 2013-ish. It's been around a long time. Yeah, I was a teenager, I think, when that movie came out, so I definitely saw Hackers. Alright. I don't remember that, CC. Maybe I just go on autopilot after a while, but I don't remember that one. I do remember the one where he thought that the woman said, "I used to be a man," but he heard that she was from Iran. That was pretty funny. That was pretty objectively funny, getting into a fist fight with her. But yeah, that was a long time ago. That's also the same one where they convinced Jen that the internet is in a little box. They give her the internet in a little black box, and then she goes up to give a talk, and everybody believes her. Yeah. I thought maybe I'm thinking earlier in season 1, but I thought that the server guy came out, and the server dude coming out of the server room, man, that's how it used to be when I first started, and a lot of Linux work was being in the data center and in the server room. Nowadays, I don't have to be in the data center at all. I can work remote from anywhere. But but when I first started, I was like that server vampire, where like I was just always in the server room, and you never saw me no matter what. So. Yeah, that's Corey Doctor. Yeah, he's the one who wrote Little Brother. I remember. And there was some good. There's just some good, like how people think. What like we call like a hacker mindset, which, again, I dislike how people supplant the word for meaning something it doesn't mean. But the mindset is the thing that matters, and being able to send a set of inputs against a system to figure out the outputs, right? Hacking is the idea that you figure something out. It's not the idea that you get into something. That's a like totally different concept. But that's something we'll get into. Communication systems security. So yeah, we'll do an engineering course, and we'll do automation. We get heavily into some of that stuff too, I think. So. The jargon file. Okay. Yeah, I've never even checked that stuff out. But yeah, guys, we're not working too hard right now. We're just kind of hanging out, and I'm always here letting people know that there's a professional Linux users group that you can go hang out with if you want. Talk shop with other, engineers and administrators and people that just use Linux. I didn't scrap the dissertation idea yet. I'm in the middle of trying to figure out what I really want to do for the dissertation. I have to do a fair amount of reading and planning before I go the other route that I could go. So I have to figure out what I want to do. But this is kind of the last week or so where I can sit around and plan out how I want to do that. So that's something for me to kind of think about going forward. Let me see is my Linux. Oh. Let's go make sure all of our servers are doing good. Make sure all our systems are up and running in the lab environment. Make sure the lab is feeding out information. Looks like people have been using the boxes, so that's good. Somebody was using Rocky 16, somebody's been using Rocky 17 and rebooting it, so that's good. Got a user on Rocky 17, and we got a user on Rocky 15, so that's good. Make sure it's not me. Oh, I'm on Rocky 15, so that was me. But somebody's down on Rocky 17, so that's good. That means somebody's connected in, and it looks like they're actually doing some work over there, so that's good. That system's under some load here. We can go see what that server's doing, but I don't want to go mess around with anybody's projects or anything, so I'm not gonna hop in there while somebody's active on it. But all these other nodes are doing the they're just hanging out waiting for people to connect to them. That's what all these other nodes are doing in the home environment. CC, you might not be able to post the links here, but if you jump down into our Discord, here, I'll link you guys to the Discord if anybody wants to. But if you want to pull up the Discord and drop links in there, you can. We have like a general section, we have an off-topic section, we have a bunch of other stuff. If you want to hop something in there, and then if you need me to pull it up, I guess I could. So there's Discord. And on the Twitch or on the YouTube side, I didn't copy the whole thing, but you guys get the point. But yeah, if you do drop something in Discord, let me know and I'll pull it up. I'm gonna go hop back over to my. I'll just keep an eye on the environment, making sure things are working the way that we expect. So that's mainly what we do in that big window. And then if I need to explain anything in Linux, I will. Just let me know if you guys have any questions about that stuff. Yeah, sorry, CC. It's just like a generic Twitch thing that's for security where it doesn't let people post links. I think VIPs can. I think like my VIPs and my mods definitely can, but I don't think any of my mods are around. They're all working today. So we're just hanging out. I look like that penguin minus the sweater. I don't have a sweater on right now. Wait, I think I have a different, hold on, I might have a different. No, in this one I don't have the other. Hold on, I think I can pull this other one in. Let me see if I have this other source. Let me see if I can add this other source. Do I have a different, not working too hard? Let me see if I can pull this one in. Hold on. It's an image. Oh, that was from when I was sick. Huh. I'll post this one up. When I do start working too hard, I switch to this. So I always tell you guys, when I do start working too hard, I switch over to that. Which is now I'm working too hard and my arms are smoking. So I switch between these sometimes, the not working too hard and working too hard. Yeah, see, sometimes people will hop in a stream, and there's also other things to stop it from happening, but like there's people hop in a stream that and it'll be like they'll just start posting links to stuff. So I think Twitch kind of shut that down a lot. And there's another thing where like if somebody goes to try to follow you and immediately post something, it won't always let them for like 10 or 15 minutes. I don't think I have that on, but you can do that as well. So yeah. But if you do drop anything over there, let me know. But there's my now I'm working too hard. I have to do some posts for college, so I'll do those here in a little bit. I also have to grade some college papers for my students. Hey, Producer Wolf, how's it going? Thanks for the raid. It's always appreciated, even if you're just hanging out. We're not working too hard today. We're just kind of hanging out. Yeah, Twitch. I mean, Twitch has been around the block. They've seen all the BS. They've seen all the things. And then that keeps. I mean, even if it was something honest, you could always post the link with the do a period space com. Like do what the thing is, and then pull it up. And then people would just have to grab it and trust it and throw it in their browser. You could always do that. But Yeah, because sometimes on here we have some kind of useful things get dropped in, and we'll sit around and talk about them or whatever. So. All right. Hey, Producer Wolf, how's it going? Yeah, I saw the raid. That's awesome. I appreciate you coming by. ScottisMyHero.com. Hold on. Let's see. Nope. Nope, nothing. Didn't work. I checked for it, but nothing. Sorry guys, I got nothing. Producer Wolf, can I show you a project real quick? It's on GitHub now. Yeah, producer, you want to drop it in the Twitch and I'll pull it up. Or in the Twitch, sorry, in the Discord. I don't know what I was thinking. If you drop it in Discord, I'll pull it up. But other than that, again, we're not working too hard right now, so we'll go back to our not working too hard. There we are. Back. He's back. He's just a penguin sitting around, not working too hard. Penguin is Tux, typically Linux type stuff. All right, what is this? Hold on, let me go look. General. What do we got here? Yeah, what are you writing here? Hold on, I'm looking. I don't know why I can't see the bottom of the screen. Hold on. Nice. Made it for your capture the flag simulation. A user clicking on a phishing email. Nice. Nice. Are you running a capture the flag right now, producer? You're building one. Nice. Are you guys going to run through it? Do you need more participants? Because you can always let people know in the Discord if you want. You know, I tell people all the time, use our Discord. You know, as long as you're not doing illegal stuff down there, I don't care. But like, if you need more people to get in there and test and practice, yeah, you should. In fact, I know quite a few of the guys in the security channel. I know not everybody, but I know most of the people in our Discord. And the ones that I do know that have been around a while, they've done quite a few capture the flag events over the years. In fact, one of our guys, he used to do a thing in, he and I used to work at Lockheed Martin together, and we used to do a thing called Hammer Block over there. And Hammer Block's a fun little thing. You can look it up if you want. I don't know that it's got a lot of stuff published on it, but it's essentially an open area capture the flag event. And we used to do that with teams of like, there would be like 500-600 teams doing stuff. Yeah, producer, that's awesome. That's awesome stuff. That does look interesting. And you did it all when it was live? Yeah. I think it's good. Yeah, if you have time that's going to be running, and you know like when the event's going to go, and you want to let people know on the Discord, just let them know. Tell them down into the security channel and all that. I'm sure there's some people that would like to throw their hat in and try their hand and see how they do at a capture the flag type event. So yeah, I'm the worst at organization, producer. Organization's the last thing to ask me about.
because that's the thing that I'm the worst at. So I do all kinds of stuff. I don't know how I get anything done. Ahmed said, "Hello, sir. Sir, can you give me advice?" I mean, I could try to give you advice, man. I don't know how much value there is in my advice. I'm just gonna tell most people to go do more Linux. Um, oh, nice. Yeah, Producer Wolf, that's good. Good if you could get that to work for sure. Ahmed over on YouTube. Hello, sir. Can you give me advice? If you want to ask me something, you can. I'll tell you. Do more engineering. Do more Linux. Those are my primary piece of advice most of the time. But please let me know. Yeah, producer. Thanks for raiding over. I appreciate you being around. So. All right. Let's see where we're at here. Do we have more stuff down in the Discord? No. Just that. Enzo boosting the server. I appreciate that, Enzo. You guys never have to do anything with the Discord, but I think if we get enough boosts, it, I don't know, makes some things better for the server. I'm not sure exactly how all the Discord stuff works. As long as they give us a free place to talk, I think it's fine. We got almost 3,400 people in there now, too, which is pretty good size. We're getting there. I always joke around about now we know we're official, right? Now we know we're official because we've got X amount of people. And I'll be happy when we hit 10,000. 10,000 is a good amount. Yeah, so 10,000 would be good. Ahmed said, what kind of opportunity can I get after learning Linux? Well, I mean, here's the thing, right? Like, you can do Linux as a hobbyist. You can play around with Linux. You can just have fun and build out things that are interesting you in Linux. And that can be all you ever do if you want. You can just do it as a hobbyist. However, if you want to like dig in and do like systems administration and systems engineering and like really spend time with learning the I want to say the engineering side of things and the business side of things and how we add value to a company or how we add value to a consultant, if we do consultancy and that kind of stuff, then I would say that if you learn those things and if you focus on those things, then there's all kinds of opportunities for Linux. I mean, you can go get work, you can do consulting, you can start your own business in it. I mean, whatever types of services you want to offer. I think there's a lot of value to learning Linux. So that's what I would tell you. Now, are you asking like for a specific, like you need to get a very specific job or you're looking for a specific type of thing? I have a whole bunch of recordings and things on like how to get into this field and how to do work and that kind of stuff, if that's what you're asking. But that kind of stuff takes time, right? And a good start is learn the basics of Linux, which if you have that, if you have a good general understanding of how it works and how to move around in it, then almost everything else just comes from learning how to be valuable to a business, right? And there's a lot of ways to learn that, I think, but we have a little guide, we have a little system we're going through right now. We're in week 11 of 16, where you can go in, it's free in our Discord, and you can go learn about how to be a Linux systems administration. Yeah. So my goal, and the goal of this professional Linux users group, is to take people like you that do Linux and know it, and maybe even do it as a hobby, and help make you professionals. That's our goal. So to that end, we have a whole bunch of things in our Discord around training and how to get better at the topics and how to apply those to business applications. Because, at the end of the day, a company doesn't run Linux just to run Linux. They run Linux to solve a problem that they have and to solve and maybe confront a business process that needs to be automated or something like that. So Linux is run to solve business problems, and then we learn how to do the things that we know technically against those needs. And that's kind of what at some level that's what our Linux systems administration is about. And then here, I'll even pull this up here for you guys. This is something that I often tell you guys about right here. This is our Linux systems administration. This is one of our guides here.
And this is one of the things I often show you guys. This is getting into Linux systems administration, right? Understanding how we do prepare, plan, design, implement, operate, and optimize inside of an organization. This is kind of like what a business is doing all the time with their technology. And you tend to hop in as a sysadmin over here, keeping the lights on and keeping things running. And then we optimize, and then we learn how to do the build stuff. So that's kind of important. Oh, actually, let me go back to my notes real quick. Fit for use is sorry, I'm just adding things to my little notes over here. But yeah, if the focus is to get the job, we have to think about, you know, what does a company want? Or if we want to consult, what does a company need from us? And it's what I tell you guys often about. You got to know what your value proposition is. You need to know what your value add is to a situation. Just knowing a lot of things is okay if you're going to be at like a bar doing trivia. But just knowing things isn't knowing how to do the work and knowing how to assume the mantle and like run a system for people. And there's a lot of value in that kind of stuff. In fact, one of the things I was talking about with the Linux Systems Administration group is one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to make some of you guys my administrators of our labs. And some of you guys are going to be in charge of keeping the labs active. And that's going to be a thing that you could then go say that you did. And if anybody were to call me and ask me, you know, for a reference or whatever, I would be like, yeah, they ran our lab. They ran the Professional Linux Users Group lab that had, you know, a few hundred users a month on, and they helped keep it running. So yeah, they understand how to keep Linux working. That's what they did. So that's going to be one of those. That's going to be one of those things that I'm going to offer here near the end of the Linux course, probably here in the next month or so, as we're finishing up. People that finish the course, I'm going to give them kind of that opportunity, because I do think there's some value there. I do think there's some value to whatever the positive thing is that can say, you know, that you can then show and do. I don't know if you guys can hear my grandson down there, but he's like singing downstairs. It's kind of funny. He's down there just yelling. That's funny. All right. Well, anyway, so we're not working too hard. It's 11 o'clock here, so it's kind of middle of the day. All right. Well, yeah, we're just kind of hanging out. I might walk away here for a minute and go wander over and check on the grandson here. Yeah, get back to Linux. There's no you guys are welcome to hang out here as long or as little as you want. I'm not working too hard either, so give me a minute or two. I'm gonna walk away for a second. I'll be back. I'll put it on over here.
Hold on real quick. Hello? Alright, well, somebody tried to call me, but then they put me in a queue to wait, so... Well, true echo... quick break. We should be able to do... Date. What? Gotta do a do. There we go. Quick break. I'll be back, guys. Not working too hard today. Go wander around the house, get some water. All right. I'll be around, guys. I'll be back. I'm just wandering around. Alright, I'm back. I'm not back yet. I'll be back here in a few. Hopefully you guys are all holding up well. Looks like nothing too bad's going on in here. Juan Duarte said, what search study area to pursue next after RHCE and CISSP? I guess it depends, what are you interested in? I mean, I would say, what are you looking for? After my CISSP, I did a whole bunch of AWS stuff. I did a whole bunch of like HashiCorp stuff. And then I went back and I did my CCSP, which was pretty fun. So, Really, really depends on, I guess, what you're interested in. Yeah, there's some costs associated with a lot of those. If you can get your business to pay for it, or whoever you're working for, or build it into, and if you got a business, you can build into your, hopefully write-offs. If you're in a country that has a lot of tax type, kind of like the U.S., there's a lot of tax stuff here, but then there's a lot of ways to, if you're spending money for a business, you can get away with some of the putting that stuff down on tax stuff. So yeah, Juan, I would tell you there's always more Linux stuff to go mess with. I tell people, if you're already doing Linux, right, just go find something that's interesting to you and in the open source world, and try to build it, try to deploy it. That would be my thoughts. And then I guess it depends too how much you're, are you working in the space? Because people get burned out just working in the space, right? So there's that. You can get burned out in this field. Most of the guys I see get burned out are either heavily into software engineering, or they're heavily into like security, but around like governance, risk, and compliance type stuff. Those are the people I see get burned out the most. But just straight doing Linux all day, that tends to be something that I think kind of energizes people, at least I've seen. So that's something to think about. Let's see how our lab does here. Looks like our systems are pulling their run times correctly, so that's good. I did not say the word play, so I don't know why that said play. But my closed captioning sometimes takes on kind of a little mind of its own. So, let me check our Discord. Make sure everything's going good over there. Good. Pretty much, for you guys that haven't been around, the reason I go live, the reason I even hang out on Twitch and YouTube in general, is to let people know that we have a little group of engineers and people that want to be engineers that kind of hang out on Discord. And it existed for us long before we had been on Discord, but it's just a bunch of people who our sole job, or our sole idea of that group, is to get you guys from being hobbyists into being pros. We want to make you guys professional. Yeah, CC, I tell people all the time, you can get into this community tonight if you wanted to. You could turn this off and you can go hang out and go start coding tonight if you wanted to, right? There's definitely Discord. Here, I'll link the Discord to people. You guys are definitely welcome to hang out down there. Yeah, we got almost 3,400 people down there. I remember right at the beginning of this year, we were, probably 700-800 people. And then I remember we hit 1,000 people in March, and we were like, hey, that's a big milestone. And then late April, we kind of blew up a little bit on YouTube. Not big, but we blew up, had a few 100,000 views on a video about. It's actually funny. I think it's about 215,000 views on just a video about doing Linux systems in a lab, like in a home lab. So yeah, it's just a place, I tell you guys, it's just a place to be more persistent than here. Like here we can talk back and forth, but more of us are like down there and hanging out, and you guys can post videos and tech talk type stuff down there. So that's one of the reasons I like it. Not Fake Amir said, if you wanted to start the course from start, how would you do it? Let me go see if I can open up my Discord real quick. Hold on. I've got it here somewhere. Let me unhide that. Let me
pull this up. Disable that. And then let me see if I can view it. Give me 1 second, I'll see if I can pull this up for you guys. Alright, so for people that want to know about how the Discord works, you go hop down in here. If you wanted to start at Unit 1, you would come, there's 2 places you would go. In our Discord, you've got a fair number of little things here, but down in Resources, there's a thing called Prolog Projects. And if you went to Prolog Projects, you would scroll up, and here's all, like, here's Unit 9, here's Unit 8, you can go all the way back to Unit 1, right? And then, if you were like, well, that's good, but that's just a lot of work, I don't know what to do, then you would come over here to Beginner Start Here, and Beginner Start Here, here's the playlist. So here's all the playlists for all of the, I have 11 weeks recorded now of the 16-week administration course. So you can go in there, and you would be able to see that. But all the lab work and all of the discussion posts are here. The discussions are all threads, so you can go in and look and see what other people are talking about, and you can see like what people have been talking about and what tooling that they're using to answer the question. So in this question, it was, you've heard of the term loose coupling. It's thrown around about a new monitoring solution coming down the pike. You find a good resource and read the section on prefer loose coupling. So then here's a section in this SRE Google book on monitoring. There's a section in there on loose coupling, and you go and you read about it and you get in there. Yeah, so that's what I would do. I would get into Prolog Projects here, which is, again, everything on Discord's free. And then for people that finish the whole course, we're going to have certificates for you guys. But I don't think a lot of people are going to finish it, especially people starting later, because the reason I say that isn't to dissuade anybody. I think everybody should try to start it. I'm just going to tell you the way I wrote this course, it's going to take you about 8 hours, probably 6 to 8 hours a week to catch up. So on the 6-hour side, right now, you're looking at least 66 hours. On the 8-hour side, you're looking at about 88 hours to catch up now. And we're going to be finishing this right by the end of the year. So that would be my advice is getting there. I would highly advise everybody should start it if that's something that's interesting to them. However, that being said, not everybody's going to get the cert, obviously. Juan, you said I want to do a screen share like you do, but then I see everyone else has already done the same. How do you deal with that? Juan, I have been trying to, like my grandbaby's in here. You guys can't see him, but he's hanging out here behind me. What's up, dude? Wait, you brought all the toys up here? Let me see a toy. I think it's funny that CC didn't even try to figure out what he just said. He just said, I, me, baby, and I think it translated in my head, he was saying, I'm going to bring more toys up. So I think he's bringing all his toys up here. Anyways, Juan, you asked a question on the YouTube side about, like, you want to do a screen share like me, but everybody's doing all this other stuff. What I've tried to do is, like, as far as, like, just being online and stuff, I'm not super concerned with, like, being what I call infotainment. Like, there's so many people out there that are, like, they're very popular, and they're just out there to, like, tell people what they want to hear or to start arguments or any of that kind of stuff. My job is much more, I think, to find people that want to do this stuff professionally and kind of be like a person out here telling people, hey, there's a place for you, right? I don't do that. Like, I don't do this for the money. Like, I don't, this is like, if I showed you guys how much I make streaming compared to what I make as an engineer, there's not a single one of you that would be like, well, I definitely see why you do that. I mean, I literally make hundreds of times more an hour as an engineer than I do as a streamer. So that being said, like, I would just tell you, like, it's got to be something you kind of want to do, right? It's got to be something that you kind of want to hang out. What's up, dude? What kind of toys you got? What? Those are all Transformers, but you have a strange fixation with Decepticons. What? You're gonna climb up? You're gonna climb up on the beanbag chair? So I got a beanbag chair in my room back behind me, and the grandbaby's crawling up on that now. What are you there, dude? You want to tell us a story about that?
Have you watched all the Transformer movies? I've only ever saw the first one. Did you like them all? There's like 80 of them now. I don't even know how many there are. There's 10? You're going to show me all your fingers? That's 10? That's pretty good. Thanks so much, Wholesome Grandson. Yeah. Sounds like a Reddit thread about how to become a Linux engineer from scratch. Yeah, Juan. I mean, the goal is just get around other engineers. It's the best books to learn shell scripting. I am from a non-IT background. Ramesh, I would say the best way to learn shell scripting would, one, get into Bash and understand Bash. And then two, like, here's the thing about shell scripting, right? Like, I'm not a shell programmer. We got some guys that are shell programmers. What I would tell you to do is find something that's like an interesting project to you and then go figure out how you would solve it. I might not make Bash my first one though for that. I might, if it were me, I would tell you, try to do it in Ansible, try to do it in Python. Because both of those are going to be transferable outside of just being a Linux admin or Linux engineer. Like, look, obviously we need to know Bash to do Linux all day, right? Like, if we're going to do Linux and type in the command line all day, we need to know our Bash. But if you're talking like shell scripting, I almost want to say shell scripting is from a time gone by. It's still good to know and it's still good to understand it, but modern stuff is going to be mostly Ansible. Yeah, what do you got there, dude? If you guys can hear my grandbaby, he's showing me is this Bumblebee? Is that Bumblebee? Look at him. Yeah. Bumblebee just turned into a Transformer. He was a car, and now he's a bot. And I think Bumblebee is counted as one of the Autobots. However, I think he was around before they called them Autobots. So he might not necessarily be an Autobot. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, that one's pretty good too. This is Optimus Prime. Yeah, I couldn't get this one to transform right. I'm not smart enough. Hey, he's in here with me streaming, but I don't have the camera on. So this one stumps me. I don't understand that one. But I think we should make you a little Bumblebee outfit so you can turn into a little Bumblebee for Halloween.
Yeah, would that be cool?
And you can go down and we'll put wheels on it so you can roll around. He kept bringing more and more toys up.
Alright, let's go downstairs. Let's show Mom. I'm here. Ezra.
Bye, Ezra. I'll see you later, buddy. Hey, are you gonna go with them to get your toes done? Are you gonna get your pedicure with the women, with the ladies, with the nana? Bye, Ezra. All right, Bash's feature part. Yeah, so I mean, obviously, look, we live down here. We do as whoops, clear. We do as much as we can down here. We learn how these things work. Oh, I don't even know what I was doing in here. I was showing you guys something with overlays a while ago. I just haven't moved out of that directory, but we do whatever we do in like a Bash context, but like the doing automation and doing scripting inside of Bash nowadays, I don't want to say that it doesn't. It is still a big thing, and it is still part of Linux systems administration. I just don't know that it's of any more weight than like learning a tool like Ansible. Like, I can go with Ansible and deploy a bunch of things to a bunch of servers, and I can set things up, and I can build out all these different things. So, oh yeah. You know what's funny about that is I was just doing all that stuff, and you guys can't even see it. Hold on, let me get rid of my Discord. I was just doing all this stuff over here, and you guys couldn't even see it because I had the Discord in front of it. So I apologize for that. But Night Strike, yeah, I kind of do this stuff to just kind of get our group out there. I want our group to be bigger and more popular, and I want people to know that there's other people out there that have similar interests to them. I think one of the best things that has happened out of the Linux Systems Administration course is a few of you have really started getting down and studying. There's always study groups running in our Discord. There's always kind of like something going on inside of Discord. And that to me is kind of good because that's people thinking, and then when you look at the discussions in the project, you've got people that are down there talking to each other and shedding ideas around, and I've seen at least
5 or 6 times now where people are like, oh, I'm going to go take that and turn that into an actual run, I'm going to turn that into an actual document at work. And I say, do it. That's exactly what we do this stuff for. And if you steal anything from the Discord, take it. It was stolen when I got it, right? Yeah, use Ansible to push out bash scripts. That's actually, Juan, that's actually a thing. Like, let's say you get a vendor script. Like Oracle, you can't install Oracle yourself. You have to use their vendor scripts. GPFS is the same way. GPFS is a parallel file system run by IBM owns it. And yeah, you have to use their tool. In fact, their tool requires K-shell on a box. You have to put K-shell on to run GPFS install. But why grow the group in the first place? Something sparked that want. Why do you think you have? Oh, so yeah, so Night Strike. The reason I grew the group is there's a very selfish reason. I'll tell you guys a very selfish reason that I do any of this. Because very early on in my tech career, when I was still, probably back when I was still an infantry guy, taking Cisco courses and learning CCNA in the early 2000s. I started that in 2001, and I got my CCNA in 2002. First try, by the way, I got it on the first attempt. But I went through college and I did that stuff when I was in the infantry. And one of the things I realized very early on in my career was I will always be in a classroom. You have to keep these skills sharp. And I decided very early on, in fact, in a few days, I hit my 16 years of being a college professor in this space. And what I realized was if I'm going to be in the classroom, I might as well be getting paid for it. As far as I'd rather be in the front of the classroom instead of just sitting in the classroom. And by the way, there's no shame in sitting in the classroom. It's just hopefully you have somebody paying for that for you, right? As like a company or a tax write-off or something. Yeah, Juan, I decided that I wanted to go to school while I was in the infantry. I decided to do that well, anyway, so where I'm going with that is, so that's another part of the group is I use the group to keep myself sharp and to make me think about things that otherwise I might be kind of lazy about. So running a professional Linux users group was born out of a goal of making some of the people that I knew that wanted to get into systems work better at it. And then on the other side of it, I wanted to make sure that I kind of could be better at it too by going and looking things up and doing projects and that kind of stuff. So that's kind of my that's kind of what got me into doing this. And I see bigger communities out there where if we can hit 15,000 one of these days, one of these years, we'd be one of the biggest Linux only servers as far as like just being a place for people to hang out and do Linux. But yeah, the goal again at the end of the day is to take people that are amateurs and hobbyists and help them have a path to be professionals in this space. So that's what I do it for. That's kind of why. Ansible was the last drop before I decided to write my own configuration management. Everything else was too frameworky and inflexible. Yeah, CC, if you ever want to show that in Discord, you're always welcome to. Yeah. So if you have anything like that that's interesting, I think that the reason I like Ansible over like Salt or Puppet or Chef is Ansible requires only two things. It requires a connection to the server, which can be SSH, WinRM if you're touching Windows boxes. Those are the two main ones that I know of. And then Python on the box. Those are the only two things it needs. It needs an interpreter for the modules that it's going to push over, and then it needs a connection over there. That's it. If it can do those things, it can do whatever it needs. Yeah, Juan, that's super smart. I had to figure out after I ETS that I need to trade beyond LE security after the Army. Yeah, Juan, I couldn't have done law enforcement after combat infantry. There was no path there in which I stayed out of prison. So I couldn't have done it. Like I couldn't have done it. Like I know some people move that path, but I would not have been one of them. So yeah, it wouldn't have been good. So yeah, I couldn't go that route. So yeah, so I got into IT and hang out now and relax, and then I get my violence out of the way doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So Night Strike, what are you doing as humbling, especially since so distracted from work to do something brainless and unproductive? Yeah, one of the easiest things to do in all the world is to go on autopilot, right? It's super easy to just sit around and be like, I'm pretty good at this. like I'm pretty good at building Linux servers. I'm pretty good at system stuff. And I could just kind of sit on my haunches and do that. Or I could try to get better at this Kubernetes stuff like I've been doing the last few years and getting my CKA and my CKAD so that I could learn how that space works, right? And then, I feel like I know security pretty well because I've been doing security my whole career, but I went and shored that up with like a CISSP and a CCSP just to kind of show that like I really, spent time with it and understand those things or whatever. So anyways, my point in saying all that is like, you don't have to do, you could just get into a career and then just sit there and chill. But for me, I wanted to kind of excel at what I do. And that's a big part of this is like, find things that are interesting to you and work on them, right? I have this thing. It's kind of like, I call it kind of my life's, you want to think of it as kind of like my life's motto. And this is the, learn something, live it, master it, and then teach it to others. So yeah, learn something, live it / master it, and then teach it to others. That's kind of like my goal. Yeah, Juan, so I took the CISSP the year before, so I got mine in 2017, I think, yeah. And so I took it right before they switched it over to the interactive one. Did you like the interactive type test? I took the CCSP on the interactive test, but they told me up front, you will have 145 questions, and I had exactly 145 questions. So I didn't get an adaptive test for my CCSP. It was exactly the number of questions they told me that it was. Yeah. CC, there's one of our guys, Inspector. I haven't seen Inspector around for a long time, man, but he's always great when he's down in our Discord. He popped up about a month ago, but Inspector said something that I really like. He said, if you think less about security than me, you're insecure, and if you think more about security than me, then you're paranoid. And I just always thought that was super, super funny. Like, that's how security people think, and I thought that was super funny. So like, if you don't think exactly like me, you're either insecure under me or you're paranoid above me. And I just thought that was like it's very insightful. That is exactly how security works. If you think less than me about security, then you're not secure, and if you think more, you're paranoid. So that is a super funny way to think about security, but he pointed that out. Night Strike, how come you haven't gotten to some version of programming or pen testing? How do you decide to keep going with what you started? Night Strike, I think people just kept paying me to run systems and build systems for them, and I found that I was pretty good with Ansible and automation. I've been using Ansible since 2013, so I can build things. I can make things repeatably pop out the same way over and over again. So that was kind of just my path. I do a lot of security just by nature of what I do, and I get called on by my company a lot to do the blue team side of things, like STIG implementations and those kind of things. But I don't know, man. Like, I stayed away. Like, I never liked the security. Like, I don't like being in a room full of security engineers, and the whole circle jerk the entire time is like, how much. What? I can't say circle or jerk. Anyways, I can't stand a bunch of people in a room trying to figure out who the smartest person in the room is. I think that's the stupidest, most useless waste of our time. Like, people pop in here all the time and they're like, I'm way smarter than you. And I'm like, well, that's good. I'm gonna be over here building stuff, because like all my stuff's running. In fact, I'm watching my stuff run right now, so I know my stuff's running right now. Yeah, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they aren't after you. That's very true. But no, I tell people all the time, like, you could be smarter than me. I'm going to be over here building stuff. I don't have to be smarter than anybody. I've worked with engineers that intellectually eclipse everybody that's ever been in this channel. I've worked with engineers that none of you can even hold a candle to. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I can't hold a candle to them either. But I guarantee you, and I know this is true, they come to me when they need help with stuff because they know I can build stuff. And they know I reliably give good, accurate answers, which is, by the way, the whole purpose of engineering. I've shown you guys before, like, what we do as engineers and what value we add. It's by being accurate and truthful in what we do. So, yeah, gatekeeping and security is a big part of it. Yeah, people, like, nobody's as smart as me. Nobody knows how to be elite hacksaw as much as me. And I'm like, well, that's cool, bro. I'm gonna be over here building stuff and securing stuff and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. It all costs money. You've been building stuff. How's the home lab coming? You can always. We do have a lab. You guys know we have a little home lab section. You're always welcome to post them there. So it all costs money. You're very. Oh man, don't feel bad. It all costs money. I have stuff that I'm terrible at in the systems world. I have stuff that I'm really terrible at. Web pages for sure are one of them. That's some of the things I don't do. What engineers? Give an example of where you excelled, and finally, what you think made them that way. Oh, Night Strike. No, I've worked with engineers that just have minds that are just sharper and better than anything I'm ever going to be able to do. I've told you guys this before, and some of you think I'm exaggerating. I've known 2 engineers in my life, 2 different guys, who you could give them you could just hand them calculus and they can do it in their head right in front of you and give you the right answer. And I've known 2 of them, and you're just, most people can never even get close to that. So, you know, and they've never forgotten a single thing they've read, and they've never, you know, and it's like, I'm never going to be there. However, I do know how to build things well, and I know my processes, and I try to convey to you guys like the things that I do with my processes to do things well, right? All cost money. You got layer 3 switch, Dell, power Ethernet switches, 2 Dell R710s. Well, just slap some operating systems on those 710s. Doesn't matter what you put on them. You can use a hypervisor, or you can use just a straight Linux box. You can even throw on Ubuntu on them, right? And then get your KVM up or your whatever type of virtualization you want on top of it, and boom, there you go. You got a network. You got everything going. Figure out the HBA cards to get all the cables needed to connect up to the disk shelves. Oh, you have some nice. Okay, yeah. And a 27U rack. That's a little half rack. It's not too bad. 27U is. There, let me see. 27. Oh, you guys can't see my. I forgot I don't have my screen on. 1.75. So that's 47.5 inches. So just about a 4-foot rack. That's not bad. Yeah, a lot of people are getting a lot of traction out of going Proxmox for sure. A lot of our guys are building Proxmox stuff out. Oh, 5.5 with the feet. Okay. Yeah. I was just doing some quick. You guys couldn't see it because it didn't pop up with my little calculator, but is that the? Oh, CC. I was just saying this earlier. Everybody wants to be elite hacksaw, but nobody wants to learn the basics. You know, I say this all the time. All engineers are hackers, but not all hackers are engineers. That's a real true thing. So minds are super hardworking and naturally talented. Yes, I know people that are like that. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Night Strike. No, I'm saying both of those people. They didn't put any effort into it. They were just naturally good at it. Like the engineers I know. The one he just retired as a major. Well, he didn't retire. He left as a major from Space Force. Now he's doing his own consulting. And then the other one was just an engineer with me at Lockheed Martin. Yeah, and they're both those guys are still doing pretty good. So, oh no, but no, neither of those guys. I don't want to say that they didn't work hard. I'm just saying they didn't have to work hard. They didn't have to work hard, and they were still going to do better than most people. I think some people just have sharper minds than others. But that doesn't mean we can't be good at what we do, right? Like we can still be good at building stuff and engineering stuff, even if we know that we're not the smartest one in the room, right? I tell people all the time, man, like there's a whole bunch of people who waste a whole bunch of time anytime they run into a new security engineer or a new Linux engineer trying to figure out which of the 2 of them is smarter, and I just don't think that matters. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of fundamentals. So I've been teaching fundamentals for 16 years, and I've been showing people the basic stuff that's out there. Hold on. People are messaging me. What's going on here? Yeah. Oh, you guys are always welcome to message me. I don't always get back on Discord right away, but yeah, you guys are always welcome to message me if you need. And I try to keep it pretty chill. I'm not always on there. I'm on Discord pretty much most of the time on my phone at least, but yeah, you guys are always welcome to hang out. Yeah, Bob's Code. What I mean is they come to me because I can do things simply and well. I'm not smarter than them. I know I'm not smarter than them. Yeah. I'm not saying, but being smart has nothing to do with being effective. I tell people this all the time. The tale as old as time is Beauty and the Beast, and the second most common old tale is a smart person that can't do anything. I've know so many people in Mensa that are just like they just don't do anything because and I think of it as like they're just so burdened by their brilliance that they can't get out of their own effing way, you know. So I don't know. Like I think nothing well of people in Mensa. Like I don't think anything like I mean you can go be in it for all you want. Just know that it's no different than that South Park episode where they're like sniffing their farts and stuff, you know. It's the same exact thing, you know. But anyways. Yeah, Juan. Yeah, the understanding the basics of things is a big part of, you know, fundamentals are important. So. Yeah. So we're not working too hard today. I feel like I have been working hard. So hold on. I feel like I've been here. I feel like I've been like this the last little bit. I've been amped up, but for the most part, we're not working too hard. Yeah, perfectionism's its own thing, yeah. And a lot of Linux engineers, I'll tell you guys, this is one of the things that has helped me in my career too, is like a lot of Linux engineers, a lot of engineers in general won't let you watch them work, or they won't let you watch them at the command line because they feel like you're going to think they're stupid if they're watching you. But I'll tell you, like the people that I've worked with, I don't care how senior or junior they are. When I watch somebody else do command line, I learn something every time. And I've been doing this like over 20 years, right? I watch somebody at the command line or they watch me, they point something out or I see something from them, I always learn something. Which is one of the reasons I'm a big fan of like watching people do stuff and watching how other people work through problems and stuff like that. I think it's very very valuable. So wait, it all costs money. You said you got the crappiest KVM ever. It is basically a box of 4 VGAs and 2 USB ports on it. It all costs money. If you throw, I mean, I don't know how Proxmox works, but with XCPNG, all you've got to do is build the basic system up, give it a network IP address that's valid, and a username and a password, and then you can connect to it. So that's one thing. If you don't want to do that, if you can at least get to, where are we at here? If you can at least get to a, you know, if you can at least get to a Linux system, right? You should be able to, you know, if you've got your systems, you know, go put them in an Etsy host file, and then you can hit any of the systems that you need to in an environment, right? So, my point for me, it all costs money for me. If I can just get the systems up and get to them where I can get to them from a command line, then I can chill. You've got Proxmox on the servers and a few M's up. Oh, then there you go. Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah. So you have something. Even if you don't want to do the hard stuff, you can back up and just kind of hang out and relax and stuff. So yeah. So you don't have to work too hard. You've got some stuff built up. That's good. Good. Yeah, I was thinking you were talking like, I just don't even know where to start, but it looks like you've got a good start. Yeah, perfect is enemy of good. Yeah, there's that book, Good is Enemy of Great. But perfect definitely stops a lot of people in their tracks. People think I can't do this thing until it's perfect. Yeah. Night Strike. I've tried. Like I've been mad before years ago when I first started. I remember I got a bad review from a manager one time, and I was like, I'm gonna do bad work. I'm just gonna do shitty work until I leave this job, and I couldn't. Like if my name was on it, it all worked. And I was talking to the guys. I left that role 11 years ago. I left Lockheed 11 years ago, and I talked to one of the guys about 6 months ago, and he said they're still running some of my stuff over there. They're still running one of my monitoring solutions, and I thought that was really funny. He goes, I mean, it's been upgraded and updated since then, but it's still running the way that I built it. So I did some interesting stuff with Nagios over there. I've shown you guys some of that Nagios stuff that I do, even though Nagios is such an old monitoring solution now, and I think people have morphed it into Zabbix and some other stuff, but ZABBIX. But anyways, yeah.
cool tools to bootstrap bare metal servers. Yeah. What I do, some of you guys have seen this in the home lab here. We're using a tool called Werewolf. And what Werewolf does is Werewolf just knows a bunch of stuff about your servers, right? And then what Werewolf knows about your servers, did that? Anyways, that looks better. What it knows about your servers is a bunch of stuff, but one of the main things it knows is like hardware here. Here's its hardware address, right? So if I were to take my system, and let me pull this up real quick here. I think you guys have. I'm gonna pull up my XCP-NG. This can be bright for a second. I'll move it over here on the right. And if I were to just take my Rocky 1 box here real quick, and I were to just reboot him. Let's just reboot him. Boom. And we'll reboot him. And then we'll go watch him at the console. And then we'll come over to this other system, the Werewolf server, with a tail-f on varlog werewolf grep-v runtime, right? And now we're going to watch that system boot, right? And as that system boots, here, this little Rocky box, it's a virtual machine, but it's functioning no different than like a bare metal server would. And it's going to come up on the network, and when it does come up on the network, it's going to pull all of its information. It's going to do a DHCP request, which is the old, you're going to see right here. It's going to iPixie boot off of the Rocky, right? So here's iPixie starting. It's going to go pull all of its information out of there. Yeah, if you can wrangle Nagios. Nagios is one of the more complex ones that I used to run. But now, as this pulls, you're going to see in the log that it's pulling from that server, pulling from the Werewolf server as it pulls all of its images, its kernel, its init RAM FS down. And then it's going to boot as though it's a brand new, clean, stateful machine. Sorry, stateless machine. It's a stateless machine. So. So what can happen here, and I use this in the home lab on virtual machines, but in the real world I use this on big physical boxes and high performance compute clusters. And when they come up, they bootstrap and then boot whatever kernels or whatever, you know, information I need them to, and whatever container images that I have for them right here, and you manage it all from one internal solution. So that's kind of the way that now it's booting on the little XCP-NG in the console. You can see it coming up. It's going to run its system overlay. So there's going to be a system overlay pulled next in here. You're going to see the next thing will be its system overlay, and then you'll see it run over there. So yeah, some of you guys have seen this stuff before, but the point is, you guys can do, you know, you guys can figure this stuff out and build it, and then all these Rocky labs are there for you guys in the professional Linux users group to use as part of that Linux Systems Administration course. I may in the future limit them down to like only maybe Rocky 1 through 5, and then maybe we take all these other nodes and do something else with them later. Papa Smurf of Death said, "Hey all, I'm always overwhelmed when I join this chat because I learn so much at once. Never leave here without learning something." Nice. Yeah, well, Papa Smurf, the goal is obviously to show you guys stuff while I'm hanging out, but then also get you guys down in the Discord where you can kind of hang out and talk with other engineers throughout the day, and hang out with other people. Man, some of you guys are down there studying like late at night and stuff. I see people down there in the Discord often. Sometimes there's actual study groups. Sometimes they're just kind of ad hoc, and I just see you guys just kind of start hanging out down there. And that's all just for you guys, you know. Hang out down there, do whatever. And I'll be sitting here not working too hard, you know. I should go back to my actual not working too hard here. By the way, that system's still coming up, and it's applying SE Linux because we are running SE Linux on the system. And then once that gets done relabeling everything, then that system will come up, and then we'll have a working Rocky node all over again with the rest of the systems. All right. What's going on over here? All right, so look, that node started up. If I get out of here and then just go rerun my Ansible playbook that I've been running. Here, we'll just go do our uptime, and you'll see Rocky 1, which will be one of the first ones likely, will be just at like, you know, very, very little uptime. Where's he at? Where's Rocky 1? Here he is. 3 minutes uptime. Because he just rebooted. All the other ones have been up for days. I reboot these nodes every now and then because they're stateless and they just keep coming up clean over and over again. Yeah, Juan, thanks for coming by. Hopefully you can hang out in the Discord. And again, that's more persistent than this. This is just me kind of hanging out, and this stuff's gone forever, you know. Although it does hang out on YouTube, I guess, forever. But I don't imagine most people will go back and rewatch our live streams. Although some of them are valuable. The recorded unit stuff is valuable, but this is just us hanging out, not working too hard. All right. Get that off of there. We'll just sit here and let the system kind of manage itself and run. And let me get this out of the way. We don't need the XCPNG right now. Transition back to that. I think so Chica asked, hobbyist taking the RHCSA soon and wondering if I had an opinion on whether I should take the RHCE next or focus on something like the CKA or AWS. I guess so. My thing would be, what do you want to do, right? Like RHCSA will give you good basic technical foundation for getting into Linux systems administration. If you're not in Linux system administration, then maybe that's what you want to go start doing. And so then you've got like kind of like 3 paths there. RHCE is if you really like the Linux stuff and just want to build servers and troubleshoot and get into, you know, heavy engineering in the systems world, that would be RHCE. If you say, Scott, you know what? I want to be part of this. I want to be part of this Kubernetes world, and I want to help people like kind of be more DevOpsy. I want to be like DevOps, where I'm still doing my Linux stuff, but I want to support the workloads that my developers are designing and make sure that they become productionalized to go into operations and make the company money. And DevOps has a lot of value. It's very, very kind of buzzwordy right now, and it's worth a lot of money. The CKA, the average CKA makes 175 a year, 175K a year. You can go look that up if you want in America. So that's 175,000 a year is what the average CKA makes in America. You can go look that up if you want, right? Now, but is that what you want to do though? And then the other last one is or AWS, go AWS route. You know, Fisherman's got like 7 of those certs. Andy works with them. I've got 5 of those certs and I'm okay at it. But AWS is like if you want to go be like a cloud engineer. So you really have to, Chica, what I would do is go and say, am I in the Linux systems space? Do I like this? Do I want to go deeper? That's RHCE. Do I want to kind of float? I want to say like almost float above Linux and just use Linux as a tool to manage my microservices and deployments and helping out as a developer, you know, operationalizing developers type work. That's what DevOps type stuff is. And that would be CKA then, and then or AWS if you want to go be like a cloud engineer. All of them are going to be bolstered by learning Linux, I think, and playing in the Linux space. But Chica, I think you really have to like sit down and think of what you want to do, like what's interesting to you. Want a position, I have little to no responsibility, and I'm mostly there to let someone else know if something is going awry. Yeah, it all costs money. You want to work in a NOC. You want to work in a NOC and move yourself up to like a manager there,
and then just be like an incident manager. And the things you probably want to study are a tool. I'll link this to you guys. It's called Kepner Trago. I think that's spelled right, but it might be wrong. Go look up Kepner Trago, and like, yeah, an overnight incident manager. Yeah. Go look up Kepner Trago. I don't think I'm spelling that completely right, but that is a incident management methodology. It's very good. Also look up your ITIL. There's some good training on ITIL that's free out there, and then I think the cost of the cert is maybe $100 or a couple $100, and that will help you get into that kind of stuff. So, can you talk about building images? What do you use or used in the industry? Kickstart, Cloud, Init, and Packer. Tomorrow, I've built Kickstart files from scratch. That's what I used to always use. Packer's okay. Most of the stuff nowadays, we've just been building straight Docker files and then just running our Docker files out of a GitHub, and then we can pull down our Docker files and just build images. That's what my company's been doing. For me, I end up doing a lot of personalization on top of that, so I just use Ansible, and then I've just been keeping Ansible locally, but I probably should start pushing that up to like a Git repository for the company. Yeah, CCX SE Linux is just a deeper level of it's just a deeper level of labeling. That's all it is. There's a good. Can I show you guys a good? There's kind of a good little. Where's that at? Hold on, I gotta pull this other thing up here. We go to Progress Quest, and then we go to. I don't know, Rocky. There's a good Rocky SE Linux documentation out there, and we used this early on in our Linux Systems Administration course. And I was telling you guys, this is a pretty good little write-up of kind of how SE Linux works. I don't necessarily. I do turn on SE Linux in some government contexts when they ask me to, but I don't turn it on often. We have it on in the lab, in our lab environment here, because people have wanted to know it better, so we do have it up. Like if I go, we have it enabled, and then we have it in permissive mode, so that if I come here and do like a system, let's do this, RPM QA grep for HTTPD, it's not there. DNF install HTTPD, which is the web server fork for Red Hat type repositories, right? And Rocky Linux is a downstream of Red Hat, right? You guys can't see my screen? I'm working on the big one here. Oh, that other thing, I was just pulling up the link to you guys. Yeah, CC, I mostly just see it breaking stuff. Yeah, tomorrow I haven't played with BootRC. I can tell you Packer's fantastic for cloud stuff. I did Packer a lot for cloud stuff early on, although there are some tools that'll build stuff for you. I just think Packer's fantastic, because then you can switch right between Packer for containers and for system builds and for AMIs like Amazon Machine Images and stuff. There's a whole bunch of stuff for that. Hold on, so now I've got Rocky Linux working, right? And I do a systemctl start HTTPD, right? So now I've got a web server running, right? Now we got port 80 sitting here, or I could just look for HTTPD, right? There's my web server running, and it's listening on port 80. And okay, my Rocky Linux box is now a web server. But if I were to tail right now, var log audit dot and then audit log, I would see a bunch of messages in here about HTTPD having some problems. There's a bunch of messages where if we were running in a non-permissive mode, we would have some real problems starting this, because the values aren't properly set in a SE Linux context. So what we might do is go do something like this. We might grep HTTP from varlog audit, right? And we'd get all the errors. Here's the error of it trying to start. And then I might say, you know what, can you tell me audit to Y? Like, what's going on there? Oh, it says nothing to do. Audit to allow. What? How would we fix this? Okay, well, there's nothing to fix there. But if there was something that was actually going to block it, we would use audit to Y and audit to allow to help us to write either the module that we needed to load or how to do the basic setting. And by the way, we could just do this against everything. Let's just cat it out. We'll just cat the whole file and say, how would we allow all of these things that are in there? And it says, well, there's some kind of NFS problem, and you're not going to be able to use NFS, right, unless you allow this, right? And this would actually be our module file here. So this would be a file that we would have to go write, and then we would have to load this as a module. There's no actual individual commands in this file right now. Sometimes there are, depending on what's going on. Papa Smurf said you used Packer for a lot of AMIs and thought it was really... It is pretty good. Packer can also just you can have your AWS keys directly loaded for it, and then it can just write the stuff right up. If you guys ever hop into my... if you guys have ever seen me hop into my AWS environment, you guys see inside of my AWS environment, AWS, you'll see that I have the what is it? My brain's not working, sorry. You'll see that I have AMIs that I used to build on stream sometimes, and they're typically stamped with the time. Hold on, tomorrow you said I'm most asking to figure out give me the best ROI for image creation, Docker, image packer, cloud, and such. Tomorrow I would say, I think one of the best things you could do is just start with building Docker files. If you're doing, that kind of stuff, just build Docker files, and then so here's what would happen if you go build some Docker files from scratch using something like Killer Coda has some really good little labs in there on Docker, on how to build stuff. And then then you go, okay, now I've used Killer Coda and I've put together some basic Docker files, and I understand what the limitations are and some of the things that bug me about it. And then when you go use a tool like Packer, you go, oh, I see, that's why that automation's cool, and I see that. That's kind of my thoughts on it. That's how I would kind of approach it, is go build some stuff up first, and then after you've built a few things, then you'll appreciate, I think, the I'm not saying you can't appreciate a tool. I'm just saying Packer in and of itself looks like this overly complicated, big old, not bloated, but it seems like it's overly complicated. But then you go build some Docker files and see the limitations of Docker, and you go, man, I can't, this is a harder thing to put into production. I can't, now I got to go manually change this file because I can't variabilize this, and I can't do this one thing over and over again, and I can't do any error correction, that's for damn sure, because it's just a Docker file. It either runs or it doesn't as I build it. But then, then you go to Packer, and Packer, you can feed Packer different environments and build from the same exact file for a whole bunch of different types of nodes and a whole bunch of different types of build. And you're like, wow, that's it starts to get into that 12-factor thing that people talk about, where one of the factors of the 12-factor app is that you configure everything as a file, right? Everything's a configuration for an environment via file, and Packer allows you to do that in a way that you can't with just a straight Docker file. Not easily, anyways. Not without just recreating the whole file. So, I have. Actually, you know what? I want to say, I blew it up in the environment, and I don't actually have it anymore. But I used to have. Out in my environment somewhere, I used to have where I used to do all my work for. I'm pretty sure I blew it up a long time ago, but I used to have everything in. I'm pretty sure I blew it up, guys. But I had a place where I used to do all my builds out of, and I could just show it to you. Yeah, I still use chroot with Ansible as well. chroot with Ansible works remarkably well for some things. So, all right. Tamari said we had a problem last weekend where the guys installed K8s, but after reboot, I was talking. Taking too long for the system to come up. I did system analyze, blame, and I wasn't sure how to go further fixing the issue. Any thoughts? Yeah, I guess so. A couple things here. You could do system CTL failed, which is also a shorter version of system CTL list units state equals failed, like this. So that's a big one right there. This one shows you what failed, right? And in my lab, this is what's failed here. So I'm just answering tomorrow's question about what other things you might do after a system didn't come up, right? So then if the service didn't start, what I might try to do is I might try to start it. So some of you guys remember me talking about OpenLava. I haven't run this in years, but systemctl start OpenLava. And this is going to fail. And then we do a journal ctl-xe to go see what happened. Oh, it failed to start LSB, right? LSB is an underlying tool. And then I can go in and dig in around and go, oh, well, we don't have LSB on the system because maybe we removed it. And then we need to go figure out, there's no opt OpenLava LSF conf. So, yeah, we deleted that directory some time ago. So that's going to be why we can't start this service, right? So also in here, you may see all kinds of other errors on why things don't start. Some of you guys were around when we were running the Loki lab, and I had to fix the Loki lab a few times a few months back, where as we pulled a certain version, they kept changing how they read in their config files. So we had to change the config files, right? I could show you guys here. It looked like this. I mean, we don't have to dig into it too much, but basically this this config file right here, these things used to work right here. I know it's kind of small to see, but they don't work anymore. So I pulled them out of our lab. But it's probably because they were consolidating something or making something more efficient or something. But in newer versions of Loki, this is a working configuration. These things cannot be there anymore. The pattern ingester and the front end encoding protobuf, you have to pull that out. Yeah. Yeah. And some of you guys that have been around when we've worked on Olama, there's what's his name, Fisherman. Man, Fisherman hasn't streamed in a long time. We need to pressure him down in Discord. Hold on a second here. Let's go shame him into streaming again. Let me pull this back up. Pull that up. Transition it over. Go over here. Hold on. Of course, my system fucking locks up while I'm trying to. God, that's fucking annoying. Just locks up while we're trying to do stuff. We need to all right, there we go. We need to get Fisherman shamed into coming back on. So if any of you guys want to drop an @ to him in the Discord down there, you guys can do that in the general channel. I think it would be funny if we sent a whole bunch of messages to him. He'd be like, why is my phone blowing up right now? So anyways, but James, the reason I brought him up is because he has a cool little Olama on Killer Coda that shows you how to set up and run through Tiny Llama with Olama in an environment, and then hit it with an API and pull down a bunch of information. It's actually a pretty fun little lab if you guys haven't seen it before. So that is here for people that want that. Labs. And then you can see his labs are the Fisherman Guybro labs. But I'll still link it over to you guys over here on the YouTube side of things as well. Where's YouTube at? Boom. And he's got some pretty good labs on Linux systems administration as well. So, all right. I'm surprised nobody took that opportunity to write in Discord. You guys could have messaged in Discord and it would have popped up on stream. Most of the times people will take advantage of that. So, yeah, CC, I'll tell you what, like, that's one of the things that has made my career pretty successful is like being pretty good at building consistent images. And I just use simple tools and it works well for me. And then people tend to like that their systems all get built correctly. And that tends to be something that they like my my systems and my tooling for. Yeah, we need to get him back streaming. All right. What's our Discord up to? It should tell us how many members we got. Maybe we're almost to 3,300. I might have exaggerated a little bit down there, but trying to get people in there. That's the goal. Get more of you guys down there hanging out. I feel like I have been working too hard, so I'm gonna go switch over there. All right, I need to, while we're hanging out here, I need to pull up some of my college stuff. Yeah, I'll do that here in a little bit. Other than that, what's everybody working on? Everybody here got something? Anybody doing anything for the holidays? Anybody working on anything interesting? I know some of you guys are building out home lab stuff, so that's always good. Let me see. Wait, hold on. Did I answer tomorrow? Let's see. Other things to look at. Yeah, if the service was supposed to start up tomorrow, that's what I would look at. The next things I would do is I got to go into my Kubernetes systems for this. Where are they at? So if you're running K8s, right, you're going to have one of the services that's always going to be running is kubelet. So status for kubelet. You'll see kubelet running. If kubelet's not running, it should tell you why, and you should be able to figure that out. You should also see if Kubernetes is running on a system, you should always see your API service running. API service tends to be running on 6.4.4.3 right here. It's Kube API. So we can cheat and we can look for, right? So we can look for Kube and make sure Kube things are working. So tomorrow, I assume if you're running Kubernetes K8s, you have another environment or another server that is running. And then what you can do is you can go look at the other nodes to try to figure out what is and isn't working the way it should. Now, any server in your environment, if you're the right user, any server in your environment with your kubelet set right should be able to, if kubectl is set up in an environment, should be able to show kubectl get pods, right? Or kubectl get nodes. You should be able to see all the rest of the environment immediately. Chicky, you just got to Dallas, Texas. So you're going to prep for the exam next week. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, tomorrow. So blame is really good for that. If everything did come up, that's also good. But maybe you need to go look into the specifics of like what was going on with the application and what type of, like, was it a control plane node or was it a worker node? Which, you know, that kind of stuff might be something for you to think about. Night Strike, Scott, seems like a way of doing things is a genuine way when seeking to understand deeply and be knowledgeable and competent. However, at work you often have to learn something fast. Yeah, Night Strike. You definitely, you have to kind of know, like, for me, when I need to figure something out fast, I do a type of troubleshooting that I call testing assumptions, where I know what I know and I know what I think is correct, but I test and I validate like within the system if what I think is true. Like I know that this is working and I know that I just called the API, but I also can validate that the API is working by going and seeing that's listening. So there's like I know how a system should be behaving by either knowing about the system or by looking at other systems that are similar to it, and then I can go and figure out from there, is I know that kubelet has to be running, and if kubelet is not running, why is it not running? But maybe I go check on another node in the cluster and kubelet's not running, and then I realize, oh shoot, we're using K3s and kubelet isn't a separate service. And then I dig in and figure out, oh shoot, this isn't even a real cluster. This is just K3s, and we were pretending it was real Kubernetes, right? So those kind of things are, that's kind of my way of troubleshooting things quick. I've shown you guys my troubleshooting methodologies. They're up in the Discord, but there you go. Oh yeah, CC, you can't get in there. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, we try to keep that out of our server, but yeah, there's some advertising stuff that pops up in there every now and then. Yeah, Night Strike, you have to, sometimes you have to. I try to know. Like I got a background in networking and I got a background in systems engineering, so I try to know what I can before a problem ever starts. I definitely know how my tools work. I tell you guys this often, you have to understand how your tools and how the command line works. And then when the problems come, which they invariably always come, that's when I start to use my tools to test my assumptions and validate what I think I know and what I do know and all those kind of things. There's no real shortcut way to get experience, that's for sure. But I do tell you guys all the time, it's actually going across the bottom of the screen right here. Experience is the hardest teacher. It gives the test first and the lesson after, right? It's actually funny that those things are off. Like if I do the transition here, it'll update what's going on. So that's super funny. I have two versions of the screen up that you guys don't see, and they're not on the same version of where they're at. It doesn't matter. That's just me thinking about stuff. Yeah, see, that does sound interesting. Yeah, we're always working on something down in the Discord. I always have you guys trying to, and a bunch of you guys are putting together projects right now for the Linux Systems Administration course, which I think is, it's one of those things that I think is valuable, because if you can do a project, you can build it, you can document it, you can put it in a portfolio, and then you can show it to somebody and say, hey, this is this thing that I built. And then they go, well, that's fine. How does that tie into, we want you to be good at monitoring and running network operations? And you say, okay, well, when I built this, I had to monitor this and this and this, and I documented my process of how I built the monitors out, and this is what that looks like. And they go, okay, this guy gets networking, or they get monitoring rather. And then they say, well, what about networking? And you go, well, I don't know everything about networking, but I definitely got networking working here, and here's my documentation, here's how I looked at the tools, and when I don't know how to work something, I go and I read. And then they go, well, he doesn't know everything about networking, but he knows how to go check. And I think you guys will find that that's what a company, there's two things that people want to know in an interview. In the technical interview, there's two things only. Can the person do the work, and will they do the work? Those are the two things people want to know in an interview. Can they do the work? Doesn't take long to know if somebody can do the work. And then will they do the work is more of how lazy are they and that kind of stuff. But oh, CC, I've never had Discord. Oh wow. Yeah, if they're making you register and locking you out and stuff, that's no good. yeah, that's rough. I do know our Discord, they have this little thing you can monetize Discord, but I don't really do that. But I've looked at it, and there's a thing where it's and to do that, all your mods have to use two-factor authentication. I'm I don't know if most of my mods would care to even bother doing that. Every time they have to log in now forever with they're gonna have to do multi-factor authentication, like when they're going into work. Most of the guys in our server that are mods, actually all of them are high tech engineers. Most of them don't want more multi-factor shit they have to do. They're tired of the stuff they do have to do. So that's funny. Yeah, Night Strike. I try to pave a way that's easier for people that come after me. You know, I have a lot of the stuff that I've learned. I try to distill down into presentations and talks and stuff that we do. And guys, all the presentations that I've done are up in the Discord. All of the talks that we've had are somewhere on YouTube. You know, and the important ones I've pulled out and put into like playlists. We have some playlists on Twitch for people. I pulled all the VODs off of Twitch, by the way. I know people have asked about this. I pulled all the VODs off of Twitch because they only stay for 60 days anyways. So I just turned them all off. And there's no real benefit to leaving them on. By the way, they would only stay for 14 days for me, except I have Turbo, which is a really weird thing. They're like, Turbo will make you have no ads. And also, if you just happen to be a streamer and you happen to be an associate with us, or whatever they call me, because I'm not a partner, then you can have 60 days instead of 14 days. And I'm like, I don't understand how that has anything to do with Turbo, but I don't need it. Well, that's fair, CC. Yeah, because Linux documentation, yeah, it is kind of hard sometimes to figure out what's going on. You got to read a lot of man pages. I always call that RTFM, read the field manual, right? Oh, one of the guys in our Discord, his last name is Reed. So he is Reed, REED TFM, read the field manual. So I think that's fine. He's come and talked to you guys a few times, by the way, and he's a director of engineering over at his company, and he's come and talked to you guys about what he looks for in systems and engineers. So yeah. So what was the wife send to me? Oh yeah. Let's see what they're doing after. Because I think they went to get... Alright, see what else is going on here. Sorry. All right. Oh, that's true, CC. Yeah, the kernel interfaces. Yeah, you have to know how the kernel's working if you want to dig into that stuff for sure. That's kind of where that hacking stuff comes in. You start throwing stuff at a black box system to see what the behaviors are. Throwing inputs at a system to see what the outputs are. Oh. All right, sorry, I had a couple texts with the wife. She's off all week. That's one of the benefits of working at a school district. They just get all of Thanksgiving week off, and today's her birthday. Today's the wife's birthday, but she's hanging out with the grandbaby, and they're gonna go see a movie. But I gotta teach tonight at the college, so I won't be able to go. And what am I teaching tonight? Oh, I actually need to verify that. I need to check that out real quick. Hold on. I'm pretty sure what I'm teaching is let me go check that real quick.
Go verify some college stuff real quick while we're sitting here. Check my 191 course for, what is this unit? We're in unit 5, and I'm doing 1 and 2, which are WAN fundamentals and WAN technologies. Let me go see what these are saying they want me to teach about. WAN. Okay. Wide area network fundamentals. And go pop that out in a new window. Okay guys, I'd go down the rabbit hole and then I get stuck doing other stuff. You go look at what they want for WAN technologies.
Welcome.
What is this? Some kind of talking? Oh, I don't need none of that stuff. Okay. So WAN technologies, troubleshoot connectivity problems. All right, boom. I'm pretty sure I have that already in a presentation. All right. Sorry guys, Alright, so I got a few different WAN technologies to talk about today. And troubleshooting things. I'm going to want that open. Layer 1. I feel like those are the same two topics. Alright. Wireless. Okay. And then network security devices. So wide area network. Hold on guys, sorry, I'm looking at a couple things here. On one of my other screens. This is that's why we call it co-working. Because I'm working on other stuff. So I'm hitting WAN fundamentals and WAN technologies tonight. Okay, that's fair enough. I had to go look at what I was actually doing. V Schizophrenic said, so you only have the one jump box. Is there redundancy in the home lab? No, Schizophrenic, I don't have redundancy in the home lab. I probably should. Happy birthday to Miss Het. Mind Smart. Yeah, Bob's Code. Nice. Well, happy birthday. The wife is, well, I'll get in trouble if I tell you guys how old the wife is. But the wife is older than me by 5 years. The wife's older than me by 5 years. So it's actually funny. She is just slightly older than me. So although that's not funny, don't tell her I said that, because she doesn't find that as funny as I do. But All right. Anyway, so yeah, that's what the wife's up to. He's transparent so far. Was dealing with the eBPF stuff in Cilium, completely bypassed the NetFilter pipeline, which I guess is nice for performance, but it's not really composable with other configurations. Yeah. Yeah, it depends how much you want to dig in on that CC. We got a guy that does a lot with eBPF, and he's come and talked to us about it in the Discord. But I also have his talk up on YouTube as well. So people that want his YouTube stuff, he's got that going. But yeah, V Schizophrenic. My in the home lab, in the one little jump box I have, I can jump through my different environments, right? We can do anything we need to kind of in the lab. And then if this box ever went down, reconfiguring him and putting a new one in his place wouldn't be that big of a deal. In fact, that's one of my build. That's one of the things I need to do. I need to put this up here. Is, let's say, build out. Replacement for P01 jump 01. He's probably going to be P01 jump 02. But he's just going to be in place, and we'll probably use Rocky 9.4 for him. I think that'll be what we use for him. So I'm down here in this bottom. I'm down here in this little environment down here. You guys can probably barely see that above my penguin, but that's back over here. This is us just chilling, not working too hard again. But yeah, we need to rebuild him, and he's currently a CentOS 7 box, so he's quite. I said CentOS, CentOS, which is not really a supported config anymore. But since it's just the home lab, it's fine. I don't mind running him like that. But am I getting messages on Discord? Hold on. I think people are atting me. Oh, probably fishermen. Oh, you guys. We need to get fishermen back streaming again. Yeah, V Schizophrenic, it's fine. I may in the future, Schizophrenic, maybe I might split that functionality off, and then yeah, I could have a second. I could split that functionality off and have P01 Jump 02 be like my box that I jump in on. Oh, excuse me, and then give you guys a secondary one, or I could make them VIP. I could make a virtual IP to a back end of 2 different nodes, and then have those nodes be configured with like typically we'll do something like Pacemaker and CoroSync to be highly available between the two. We could do that. That's not super hard. Like, some of this stuff seems like super hard, and you're like, oh, it's like some abstract thing that happens in a dungeon, and you know the wizard's down there casting his spells and shit. And that's not really what it is. A lot of the stuff, it only looks difficult until you guys go do it once, and then you go, that's it. That's the thing they're gonna pay me a bunch of money for. Yep. Knowing how to do it and knowing how to do it consistently is what people are gonna pay you a lot of money for. Yep. That's it. That's all it is. Knowing how to pick up a VIP, a virtual IP between 2 systems, is valuable. It's a valuable thing. So, all right, but again, we're not working too hard. Just kind of hanging out. If you guys have questions or want me to talk about anything in particular, let me know. Otherwise, we're just kind of hanging out on the home lab. Oops. Making sure that the cluster's working right, and making sure everything is coming up as we expect it to, right? Make sure all of our nodes are grabbing their runtime overlays and provisioning themselves correctly and all that stuff. It's important. It's all part of the Werewolf ecosystem and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, Schizophrenic, that's not a problem. Hold on. So, in the home lab, I run a tool here called XCPNG. I'm gonna move it over here so it's kind of visible for you guys. I'll put it right here. This is XCPNG.
And so what happens is I have 3 physical devices that sit behind me in the lab. They are running Type 1 hypervisors called XCPNG, and then they've just got some generic names, except for this one. Big New is what I called this one. And what happens is these are the physical devices here, right? They are Type 1 hypervisors. We can go look at like what's going on. I can jump into them. I can look at their IP addresses in my environment. I can do all kinds of things on them, right? I can see how used they are, like what's the performance on them. This machine that's kind of one of the smaller ones, he's not being used too much, but he's got 12 cores and he's not using but maybe about 10% of them, and he's mostly chilling. He's got all of these kind of infrastructure boxes. He's got my P01 Jump 01 out there and host box. This is probably the server I care the most about for real work in my home lab, right? Then we have this is just various systems. Here's my production Kubernetes in here on some virtual machines and just some nodes that I've built. And here's Guacamole for people that get in through Guacamole and that kind of stuff. But then this node here, he does all the lab stuff. And all the lab stuff exists on a separate network. And that lab network that's separate is on 192.168.200. So if you guys ever come in my home lab here, I'm on the network is 192.168.200, which is an internal network that's separate than my home network, which is 192.168.11. Is the IPMI client of sorts. I'm not using any IPMI in this environment directly. These are just virtual machines inside of this, so I get connection directly to their consoles. So I don't have any IPMI in that sense. If you guys are wondering, IPMI is IP management interface, right? It's how we connect things. I actually do have IPMI on the servers that I could plug in. I don't have it plugged in or configured, and then I would use something typically like Redfish to connect to it, if you guys are wondering. For virtual IP, do you like DNS tool or live handover tools? So what I use in the lab here internally is I do have DNS running in the Werewolf environment. So everything in the lab environment is set up. In fact, I've got this Kafka server now that's built. Hold on. We built him the other night because I wanted to get Kafka going. But Kafka is not... Yep, hold on. His networking is lab internal. Yep. He is not up yet in the environment, and he is not yet built as a node inside of our system. So I'm going to have to add him in Werewolf, and we'll make a Kafka node, and then when we go look, we'll see Kafka in here as part of our lab environment. But anyways, yeah, for virtual IP, no, virtual IP would be done, we would just statically set it. Typically, internally, I use static IPs, or I use static Etsy host files for the most part. But we do use DNS for some things in an environment if the tooling calls for it. Like Werewolf wants to use DNS for things, and you can have Werewolf dynamically assign things if you want. But I don't use Werewolf like that. I use everything static. I'm very much like in the cluster space for like high performance compute. I am very much a static IP guy. I mean, we're not changing servers around very often, so let's just set it static on all 1,200 nodes up front, and we can generate them with the script, and it's super easy, and then we never change them. And that tends to work pretty well. And then just new things have to adhere to the standard as you keep deploying them and that kind of stuff. So hopefully that's clear as mud. But anyways, in the home lab, Werewolf is running a whole bunch of stuff. So if we cat Etsy Werewolf, in here, he's doing the normal Werewolf stuff. He's doing DHCP. He's got TFTP for the iPixie connections, and then he's also doing NFS, which we can turn off if we want, but we happen to leave him on. We also have SSH enabled, and then he's got container mounts and paths that we don't really use much, except for his own definitions internally. So now if we did a systemctl status DHCPD, he's running DHCPD, and I believe he's also running DNS. Nope. Yeah. He doesn't know. He's not running DNS. So, anyways, yeah, that's
No, but DNS. So with a static account, you can point to a VIP for a name of a server, and that can just be like the master IP. And then the two nodes have their own IP addresses, but the one that's the head node or the lead or the control plane or whatever you want to call it, that one grabs the virtual IP only when it's supposed to. That's how I do it. I think Proxmox had a very fast live switch over on the same network. It almost seemed like an IP advertisement has been wild. Oh, I don't know Proxmox at all. I know you guys have all kinds of cool stuff on Proxmox, but I haven't done that thing. CC, that's 100% true. The more dynamic things that we have, the more it can break. That's the same thing I've told people over the years, like with Oracle clusters. If you have Oracle clusters and they must talk to each other, you have to use static. Like we just use static IPs in there. Those things talk directly to the other machine. Because if you ever have to wait for DNS to come back up, and let's say DNS is a Windows function in your organization, most Linux people are not going to be running DNS in their corporation. It's probably going to be corporate DNS. And if that's the case, you can't trust that shit to be up. Now, I'm not saying anything bad about Windows. I'm just saying I'm not in charge of the Windows team. I'm one of the Linux guys. I'm a Linux engineer. I have been in charge of the Windows team in my career as a platform lead, but I was just the tech lead. I couldn't actually. My manager told them what to do. I was just the tech lead that they came to when they had problems, you know. So, anyways, that's kind of my thoughts on some of this stuff. We do need to build that Kafka server. He's not built yet. He has no memory of this place yet. So we need to build him. And we could do it. We could do a node add of Kafka in the environment and add him in here. Node list. Here's what he gets by default. He gets the Rocky Linux Lab environment, but he doesn't have this value set yet. So what we want to do is we want to set him discoverable. I don't see it in here. So oh man, I might have to look that up because I don't remember how to set that discoverable. But we would set this one to be discoverable, and then we'd boot this node, and he would come up as that. But then we would also build a new container for him, and the container will be Rocky Linux 9 dash probably Kafka, and then we would go build his container and add his software and build his configs into the container. And we can do that if we want. It's just not. I mean, not really what I was doing today, but. I started it the other day because I see this Kafka node just sitting here dead, and because I didn't do it. But anyways, the original question was what do I use in the home lab, and I use XCPNG, and it's super easy to build nodes out, and then Werewolf can suck nodes into the cluster very quickly. So discoverable is true. So let's just turn this on then. Let's just start him, and let's see if he gets discovered in the environment. So he's building the Kafka overlay first, so that's good. Now as this node comes up, does he go and find in the environment that he should be? Let's see. He does a DHCP request, which is going to be fulfilled by the Werewolf server over here. And does he pull... Hold on. He doesn't have a network device. Alright, so what is... These guys have their networking on lab internal. Does he have his networking on lab internal? Yep. And then... Did I give him... Let's see if Kafka got a... I didn't give him an IP address.
So we can give him an IP adder. We didn't give him an IP adder. All of our old. Oh, there's nothing else in there. All right. Well, we're definitely on a more an older version. Man, I don't have any of my commands. I have to go look them all up. But we need to give him a IP adder. Let's see. Hold on. Find in all docs. Let's see if I can change. Let's see. I don't like that I don't have one of these for him, but let's see if this will set it. Maybe. Let's go with, we'll just make him 60, so he'll always be out of the way. Oh, I gotta give him a name. Oh god, node set will be, we could do it at the end. And then let's go look on Kafka. And does he have, nope, that didn't work. So it didn't set that on him. I want to say let's move this over here because I don't think that's how that's supposed to work. I think I gotta put this over here. Still not setting it. Still not setting it. All right, I gotta figure out how to set that value. I normally do it when I build them, but I don't know. I haven't done that in a long time, so I have no idea what the actual thing is to get that working. So I'll have to figure that out. I'm not sure what I need for that. But anyway, so yeah, that node's not coming up yet, but I'd have to figure out why I have to give an IP address. I don't think. Oh, excuse me. We're gonna let the system. Oh well. We're gonna do the build. We'll do the overlay build real quick. We'll let that work everywhere. Whatever. Just let that build all the overlays everywhere real quick. Just so that works. Yeah, I'll just let it build everything. It'll build all the overlays and we'll be fine. But I'll have to go troubleshoot that or work on that later, because not too worried about that for right now. All right. Well, anyways, what are we working on? I'm over on another screen working on some work stuff, and oh, the wife's bringing me Fazoli's later, so that's always good. If you guys have ever had Fazoli's, that's a pretty good little spot. Bit pricey, but pretty good.
All right. What are you guys all working on? Anybody else done after today? Anybody else got? I mean, I'm working Wednesday and Friday, but nobody else is working, so like I don't have that much going on. I do have to get into a system here in a little bit. Somebody asked me about figuring out why. There's a question specifically about why. Why we can't connect in anymore. So I gotta hop in a node and do that. Although that's in a secure environment, so that's one of those things that I unfortunately can't show you guys. So, you know, Mr. Muddy Pants, gotta check in on a few things here and there, but pretty much done for the week. Nice. Yeah, that's a good feeling to have, right? Be done. I think family's in town until Thursday, and then we kind of. So it's always kind of hectic when family's in town. Like it's fun, but like some of you guys were here earlier, the grandbaby came in while I was just hanging out, and he just was bringing all of his Transformer toys in here, so that was kind of funny. Working Thursday, Saturday, premium day Thursday though. Nice. Are you getting extra pay that day? That's always nice. There's trade-offs, right? There's trade-offs throughout your career, but if you get extra money on a day like that, that's always good. The trade-off for me is, as an engineer, I've never been late to work. I tell people all the time, in the last 20 years, I've never once been late, but I don't get paid extra. So I can mosey in on at 9 and nobody will say anything to me as long as my work's all done. I leave work early if everything's done too, and then I just work from home. But I never get paid extra whatever the day is. So that's one of the bad things. Although I do get pretty fair bonuses depending on work. That is a nice thing too. Like if you work in IT, a lot of times if you work in a good shop, you'll get bonuses for things that you do well. I tell you guys, I've told you guys I got a couple of bonuses when do you guys remember the not logsec but the big what was that log in Java, the one that hit really hard on everybody? Log4j. Yeah, I got 2 different awards during Log4j from work, and I was just standing there like what's his name from The Office, Michael Scott. I was just standing there like Michael Scott, like not knowing why they were giving me those awards, but it was just funny. Like, but I was like securing a lot of our Linux stuff, and it was kind of funny. I was using Qualys to find, and I was working directly with. So Qualys is this tool out here. And actually, one of their director of marketing for all of Americas, he just left there though, and now he's is he a CIO at a company now? Anyways, he's the same guy who gave me the little rack that sits behind me. This guy worked with it at AAA, but he's gonna come talk to the group here. I need to get some time with him, but he said he'd come talk to the ProLug group as well. But he just left there to be a CIO, but. He and I were working on stuff, and I actually gave them some fixes for their code. Their stuff was up in a GitHub repository, and it was like this massive log4j fix, but there were problems with their code, mainly in their logic. It was a shell script, and what it did was it deployed to a bunch of machines, but it assumed that they had unzip. And I'll tell you right now, most Linux tooling and most Linux engineers do not build unzip and zip into their tooling. They don't. Well, if you didn't have unzip, it wouldn't go down into the jar files to actually look at what was going on with them. So it would come back with a bunch of everything that would come back was a false negative. So there was a big false negative around the so it would just be like, yeah, log4j is good. There's no log4j here. But the problem was log4j was there. It just wasn't checking down in the jar files. So I showed him how to fix that, and then we actually were on a call, and I fixed that for him. And then I don't know, my management and directors gave me a bunch of awards and stuff. Two separate awards, but it was like one was like a smaller level award, which was just okay, and then one was a director level award, which was like I took note of that one. That one was better. Hey, we'll take any award as monetary awards. We'll always take any of those, right? Don't kick those out of bed. But yeah, that felt kind of good though. Like at least they were recognizing that I was doing stuff.
But as that, for the most part, the reason I bring that up is for the most part, as an engineer, you will never make any more money than what's contracted, right? But sometimes they go out of the way. Yeah, CC. When I was at AAA, we had about 200 different dev teams, and I would, if I were just to guess off the top of my head, I'd say probably 180 of them were Java. So most all of our work, most all of the things that I supported from a Linux standpoint was like black box Java running on top of my Linux boxes, and it was hard to troubleshoot a lot of that stuff. Because I tell the guys, I'm like, if you're not logging it out, all I see is your CPU and your memory usage and your disk I/O. I don't see anything else inside of Java. That's your tool, right? Like you guys control everything inside of it. Yeah. So I used to tell them, I'm like, guys, I can sit here and show you everything about the usage over time, and as we spin up threads and under load, and I can show you all that stuff because I monitor all that. What I see though is just this black box. It looks like the Borg, right? If you guys remember Star Trek, it's just this big cube that shows up, and I can't tell you what's going on inside of it. I just know it's consuming CPU and memory. You guys have to figure out what's actually breaking, and then that's. I can do some things with Java. I can tell you what kind of system calls it's making. I can set an strace to it and see, if it's erroring out, trying to find modules and that. I can do those things, but for the most part, it's very difficult to troubleshoot somebody else's black box. Yeah. Well, and then they wouldn't. So this was another thing that I ran into a lot over time is the JVMs wouldn't clean up. So I'd have to go kill and like burn a system to the ground and go, okay, now go ahead and run your Java again, and then we would track it with whatever new things, and then everything would work and we'd be good. But I would come in and have to like be Aliens. If you guys ever seen the movie Aliens, where they're just like burning everything with their blowtorches because it's like kill it all with fire. That's what you have to do. You have to just burn it all to the ground. So, another thing about today. This is actually funny. It is my wife's birthday, but it's also my 9-year anniversary with or was that? Wait, hold on. Let me make sure it wasn't yesterday. Hold on. I think it's today though. No, it was yesterday. Was my 9 years with DeVry University. So I've been teaching college for 16 years, but 9 of them have been at DeVry University now. So if you guys know about DeVry, it's 100. How old is DeVry? DeVry is almost 100-year-old. I think we just hit 90 the other day. I think that sounds right. A very, very long time for an electrical engineering and technology school to be around, Oh, did our thing break? Hold on. Sorry, guys. Let me fix it. Boom. All right, we should be back. Speaking of being over memory limits, that thing had busted. How long ago did that break? Sometimes I don't check on that for a while, and then it breaks. Yeah, I actually graduated from DeVry in 2006, and then Keller in 2008 and 2011 with a couple of master's degrees. I said 2008. I meant 2008. They call those the OT years. Is that right? OT. Whatever. Who knows? Yeah, Mad Lad. I try to. And by the way, one of the things I try to do is make sure that I keep the rigor. I sound young. No. Sorry. No, I graduated high school in '99, so I'm definitely not young. But I spent some time in the Army first before I came back and got out and did all that stuff. No. I'm the oldest of the millennials. If you guys didn't know, I'm the oldest of the millennials. Which is funny because I've been a curmudgeon since I was 20. I turned 22 in Iraq as a combat infantryman in 2003, and I just I just have not, like, nothing people say about millennials is true of me. So not a single one of them, not a single one of the stereotypes that people try to throw on millennials is true of me. Well, I do like playing with my phone, but I was an early adopter of cell phones. I had a cell phone in 2000, and that's pretty early adopter for my age group, because people in the Army, most of them didn't have cell phones until after I got out. So Oh well. Yeah, CC, that's actually funny. The suspenders guy from Dilbert, since you were like 17, that's actually in our Discord. I know you're not going to come to the Discord, but in our Discord, Fisherman Guy Bro has a bot called Fisherman Guy Bot, and that stupid bot is basically that character. So when you ask it questions and talk to it, because you can ask the bot whatever questions you want in our Discord. It goes out and it answers API. It answers the questions as though it was a crusty old Unix admin. So. So anyways, yeah, it's funny. It's and then he's got a couple of, actually, do I have his? Hold on. I don't know if I have his I'm trying to find Fisherman. I don't know what Fisherman calls his. Let's see. I gotta find what Fisherman calls his. Hold on, what does he call that? GG. No. Anybody here know what Fisherman calls his stuff? Anyways, I don't know what he calls this stuff, so I can't find it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Alright, but guys, I've been on. We're not working too hard today, but hopefully you guys know that there's a Discord out there where you can hang out and talk shop. For people that can't do Discord, that's fine. You're welcome to hang out here whenever I'm around. Yeah, CC, it's fine. This happens. But I did love the Dilbert. He's flipping you a nickel and going, "Here's a nickel. Buy yourself a better computer." That's one of my favorite lines ever. He's like, that beard and those suspenders and that smug look. You must be one of those condescending Unix super users. And he flips him a nickel and goes, "Here's a nickel. Buy yourself a better computer." That's like the most Unix thing, Linux engineer ever. Actually, I've known some Unix engineers that would get really, really mad if you ever conflated Unix and Linux, and you don't conflate them in the industry. But it is funny that like Unix is still kicking, and some of the guys that are heavily into Unix do not like when people bring up Linux. So that's a thing. So because to them, Linux is the new buck. Linux is 30 years old, but it's still real young to them. What's Linux? 33 now? Something like that. 30, 32 maybe. I don't know. You guys can look it up if you want. But anyways, yeah. But no, you guys and CC, I'm glad you came around. I'm glad you're hanging out. You're always welcome. I'll sometimes be on during the day. It just depends. But I'll probably drop off of here for now so I can get some other work done and stuff. But yeah, we were just co-working today. We weren't working too hard and stuff. In the enter. I don't know if I did something, but anyways, yeah. So I will talk to you guys later. Let me go find somebody over here on Twitch to go raid. There's probably somebody doing something fun out there. Let's go see what's going on out there. Oh, Bother's doing some stuff. Running Man's doing some stuff. Let's see if we'll go raid over. We'll do some malware stuff. We'll go hang out with some people doing some malware stuff. So I will raid over there, and for the rest of you guys, I will see you guys, sometime later this week probably. For sure on Saturday. On Saturday we're doing our Linux group, so you're always welcome to hang out there, and I will see you guys later. Take care.